Okay, so I kind of decided, let's just make one video to cover Font Awesome and the NES.css. So what this is this is kind of your starting. Um, this is just an overview of what your NES.css can do. This is all their examples, and this is actually what it's going to look like. So you can kind of get an idea. Their text. Um, they're using the same kind of principle as Bootstrap, where you've got your primary, your success, your warning, your error, your disabled, obviously. Um, and their buttons are going to work similar to Bootstrap. So if you've done Bootstrap, you'll probably understand this pretty quick. You've got different, for your radio functions. This is what they're going to look like, kind of like the old Nintendo Pokemon games. If you want to build checkboxes, they've got the light and the dark style. These are your input fields. Your success, your warning, your error. Again, that's where they're getting the color from. Text areas, and they will be draggable. So then you've got your selectors you can fill out with different stuff, just kind of for building forms again. Your containers, so they've got one that's centered. Container is dark offset. And then they got the bubbled and squared off with a border containers. And you're going to see kind of here the nest container. But then you'll notice they do stuff like dark, which is going to be similar to your Bootstrap. So if you've done Bootstrap, you'll kind of know you can start going in here and changing things to get more of what you want. For example, like we're about to see here in my example for this list. Looking at this, that to create this list, this format style is getting called by nest list. Then what makes this different, the bullets right here, is disk. So it's that darkened dot. Is circle. It's going to cause that. So if you're wanting to do something like I'm going to do in the example, where say I want different bullet, or what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually tie in some Font Awesome icons for separate bullets to kind of show how to build like your social media form. So we're going to throw in a Twitter. See what else I threw in. It's going to be a Twitter, a GitHub, a Gmail, and a LinkedIn. Just your basic kind of for your example, your portfolio when you're building your coding portfolio. And so by eliminating is disk, it got rid of our bullets. And I'll show you this here in just a second. It'll allow you to tie your Font Awesome icons into your different list items. And then they've got tables. You can build progress bars, your different avatars. If you're doing something similar like Facebook, these are your kind of media type. You can build the balloons. Different badges you can throw on. And like in the last video, these reaction icons are what I actually use as my buttons. So you have the heart, and again, you can kind of see the makeup of what's actually changing this is so the size is large, your nest icon is what's calling it, and then this is defined by heart. So heart is going to be a full one. And then when you have heart is empty, it's going to be that. And you've got your different star ones. So nest icon's calling this in the star. It's going to be large. Then what's defining it is half, is transparent, which would basically be an empty one, and then is empty. It's just like completely gone. And you can do it with the like symbol as well. So you can get in here and just change these very similar pretty easily. and change around. And these are the icons I was talking about. So you've got your Twitter icon, your Facebook, Instagram, GitHub, Google, Gmail, Medium, LinkedIn, your Twitch, your YouTube, your Reddit, your WhatsApp. Obviously you're not going to have all these on yours, but for different stuff, you'll want them. For portfolio, you're probably going to want your Twitter, your GitHub, obviously your Gmail. You're definitely going to want your LinkedIn. If you do YouTube videos, it's kind of personal preference. If they're coding related or they relate to your portfolio, you can include that. This is personal preference. The rest of these you're probably not going to use for your portfolio. And this is the icon from the last game I used for my coin. And you see my little controllers. So what I've done kind of just to get us started for this video, I've kind of gone over what some of this stuff looks like and how you can customize your websites with not just this NS or NES.css, but you can actually tie Font Awesome inside of this, make it even more customized. And so I'm going to kind of show you how to do that. Then real quickly, I'll kind of show you if I can find the dialog boxes again. Yeah, so these work. And the note that they have down here, these don't include JavaScript. So if you're wanting to use a dialog element and you're not using a Chrome browser, you're going to have to do some additional tie-ins. If you're interested in that, so basically if you tie this in, it's only going to work in Chrome. It's not going to work in any of your other browsers. So not going to work in Mozilla, nothing like that. But you can just add this polyfill. So just a simple Google search polyfill and it'll explain how to do that. And then you're good to go from there. But just keep that in mind, because if you want your websites to work as best possible as many browsers as possible, so this kind of is just going to work in Chrome. But just for real quick, I didn't add any major styles to this, but so this is kind of, I just threw in some buttons, some of our images, kind of show you how this is going to look on your website. So I have a table, and this is my list that I was talking about that I took the bullets out of. And you have your primary and your success buttons. So what I want to show you next, and then we're going to tie these two together, is going to be Font Awesome. You've seen it. If you've watched any of my other videos, you've seen it in my game. I'm going to show you all later my actual finished games, just the intro pages that you'll see these tied into. Honestly, if you're not sure how often you're going to use this or whatever, just start using the free. You're going to get 1,500 icons anyway, which is plenty. But like I said, if you go to the Pro, it's 5,082 icons. So if you want to do the Pro, it is $60 a year. It's not too bad. So just kind of keep that in mind. You can always do the Pro, but just for this, I'm going to show you what's available kind of free. So you're going to click on Get Started, and this is where you're going to actually copy the CDN. So you'll just drag, copy, and you're going to tie this in your code. So in your IDE, you just pull this up, and you'll see this is my NES.css link. This is going to be my style sheet that I built for the CSS. Okay, sorry, we got cut off there, so this is going to be a two-part video. Let's say once you get your CDN copied, you're going to want to throw it into your IDE. So I'm just throw it in between the one that refers to the NES.css and our personal CSS. So just throw it in here. Just Control V it, or if you want, you could have right-clicked, paste, whichever you're comfortable with. Go ahead and Control S to save. Now these are shortcut key commands for Virtual Studio, which is what I'm using. It's a really awesome free IDE. So your shortcuts might be different if you're using a different IDE. So we get that in there, and now you can kind of read some of this to get a better idea of where to go, and kind of some more tips on changing the color and all that. You can go here and do these power transforms and all that. I usually just style them in my personal CSS sheet, kind of how I normally do it. So to get started, you're just going to click on icons, and it's going to show you all 5,082, which is available if you have the upgraded membership. But it's going to gray out what you can't use. To avoid this and having to scroll through extra ones, just click on the free tab. If you kind of have something in mind, they've got different tabs that you can, okay, I want something to do with math or marketing, medical, whatever. They've got everything from your Amazon icons to credit cards, and similar to the NES icons that I've shown you with Twitter, GitHub, Instagram, all that. They have them here as well, so you can always use them there. I'm just going to kind of scroll through, kind of show you all some of the stuff. So we've got cameras, calendars, candy canes, Canadian maple leaf, campground, cars, Rex, cart, your MasterCard, your PayPal. Obviously, if you've got some kind of online shopping site that you're building for somebody, PayPal and different stuff that you accept, those are useful. We're just going to scroll through here, try to find something kind of cool. And one thing I did notice too is they even have like your D20 dice. Like if you're trying to build a game, they have everything from a D4, D6, D10, D20, all that. So you could use those icons if you had different dice rolls. It's just whatever you want them, to get into. Different little dice that you can add. We're just going to kind of go through here and find something just for demo. And let's just do Star Wars. So you'll click on the icon you want, and they've got different sizes, but you just click start using this icon, and it brings up this iClass tag, and you'll just copy it. Then you'll go to your IDE, and to kind of give you an idea. So before I program this, I'll show you kind of what we're doing. So this is just a basic. I plugged in everything, some decent stuff to kind of give a demo through the NES.css. So this is what we have. We have the buttons, some of the icons, we have a table, and we have a list. So we're going to just go through and add some font awesome to some of these. Obviously not these icons. I'm just kind of showing you the NES.css and what you can kind of do with some of that. We are going to do some stuff on the buttons. Haven't done it before, so I'm going to attempt to do some stuff on the table. And then we're going to do something on the list because I've gotten rid of their bullets that you can, like I said, you can have with the different stuff you saw inside of that class tag. We're going to actually build different buttons with actual icons for each individual bullet, which if you wanted to, say, build a list like this inside of a div or a container, you could use some of these icons. So I could put my Twitter icon here and then have the link to my Twitter account next to it, your GitHub. So that's how you're going to kind of build your, content to social media on your portfolio when you're building it. But let's just get started with this button right here. So we're going to pull our IDE up. We're going to go down here. You can see we have a button type, and it's just NES button. So this is our text primary. So I'm going to go ahead, and this is where we're going to put our I tag. So we don't need the extra one. That's just kind of to show you where we're going to put it. What you're going to do is I'm going to build two of them. So I want one on each side of primary. And if you just want it on one side, it's just a simple paste and you're done. So Save this, refresh your browser, and it's going to load your Star Wars Empire sign next to your primary. Now, and like I said, though, I want to. So you can go back to our IDE. I'm going to throw another one up in there. Go ahead and save that. I'm going to go ahead and refresh. And there you got your primary. And you'll notice here, if you're wanting it to touch your text, don't put a space. If you're wanting a space, you just put a space in there. So we'll go back, and as you can see, this I tag in primary has space, and here it doesn't. Personally, I like space. In some instances, you probably will want it touching your text, but I always like to have a little space. So now we'll save that and refresh. You'll see it moved that on over. All right, so let's look at success, and you'll kind of see even with this color of success, we can go in here and let's find a different icon. Maybe they have, let's just do Rebels. There it is. All right, so we'll do a Star Wars Rebel. Why not? So grab this tag, Control V. I'm sorry. Let's see. Pull over IDE. And let's throw this in next to success. So Rebel, space, Rebel, and we want to have that space in there. Success. Go ahead and save this. Go back to our page, refresh, and see you've got your Rebel logo. And see it goes, you know, obviously if you had just the white button that exactly matched this color of white, it wouldn't show up, but you can see with different colors, your font awesome still works. So let's get into this table. What I'm going to try to do, and I have not played with this at all, so we're kind of actually doing this together, so you kind of have to bear with me. But I'm going to get in this table, and I'm going to try to add some font awesomes, different parts of this table. So let's go back to our font awesome. See what else we can find. We'll get rid of the Rebel tag. Brings back everything. You know what? Let's do it. Let's do a castle. Let's see. I'm gonna copy that and go back to our IDE. And so you see, this is our table. So this is going to be the different text that we have inside of our table. So I'm just going to throw this in here. And I just want one in this case. Like I said, for different stuff, you'll want different stuff. I usually prefer two in almost every situation, especially my buttons. It just looks more visually appealing. But since I'm building a table, it's kind of going to show you, and we're also going to do this in our list, but we're just going to do it in the table to kind of also show situations that one would be ideal. So we save that. We're going to go ahead and refresh, and you'll see through that castle logo next to our table is bordered text. So anything you have inside these tables, obviously you can post it anywhere inside of this. And let's make a mistake, I guess, to show a point of how customizable this is. So let's go back here. And I'm going to literally throw one in the middle of my text. Just break this sentence. So we'll throw it right in there. Save. Go ahead and refresh our page. I mean, it's going to put it where you put it. That's the beauty of it being embedded in its own personal, tag. Where you throw it is where it's going. So now we have a table is castle centered. And you could obviously go through here and do that with all of them, different tags. So let's build out this list. And what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to go ahead and try to find these so I can show you how to kind of build this for your portfolio. So good morning is going to be our Twitter. Thou hast had a good night's sleep, I hope, will be our GitHub, and so on and so forth. So let's go back to our font awesome. Let's just search icon. Let's search Twitter. Okay, so we got the square or just the bird. You know what, let's do the square. All right. Go ahead and copy this with Control C, and we'll throw it in our IDE. So that's our table. Here's our list. So, like I said, this is going to be our Twitter. So, normally, obviously, throw your href link in there. So that right next to your Twitter, they can click to your Twitter profile. But go ahead and save this to just kind of give you an idea of what you want to do with this. So that's going to throw your Twitter like icon. And like I said, obviously, with this being the list is as small as it is, the icon's going to be small. You can go back and we can make these bigger, and we're going to do that through CSS. I can touch that in another video, touch on it and see. You can customize these just like you could this table if I wanted my table bigger on my page, anything. So obviously for a portfolio, you don't want something that small. So we're going to want it more this size, and that can be done through CSS. And I will say, obviously with the font, awesome, you're not going to be able to get the color unless you have Pro, I believe. But actually, just for kickers, let's go ahead and start and see if we can do power transform. Okay, so the background, you can change the background, do different stuff with positioning, rotating. See if we can touch on. So I guess you can use this without Pro, but I'm not seeing any easy way to do what we're wanting. So let's, like I said, we'll just, in another video, I'll touch on how to do this with CSS to make this actually blue, like you see here, and touch on the size. And like I said, you can always find stuff on different stuff on GitHub, like I did here with the NES.css. So you don't have to use icons. It's just kind of nice because you can literally throw them anywhere, as you see in our table. But that's our Twitter tag. Let's go ahead and throw one up for GitHub. Let's do the square. So go ahead and copy this, add it into our code. So this one's going to be square, and remember you want the space so it's not touching your button, or I mean icon, sorry. We'll go back to our website, refresh, now you have your GitHub. And like I said, this obviously is not going to be just regular text. You're going to put your href in here so that they can click on it and get to your GitHub. Let's see. if they have a Gmail. So not a specific Gmail one, which you may not even have a Gmail, so it probably wouldn't even matter. I would use something like just a simple envelope, although this one's kind of cool. So let's just use that one. It's a little bit different. You probably won't see that, as much on everybody's portfolio. And when you're building a portfolio, anything you can do to kind of stand out, be just not just a normal same portfolio that everybody else has is going to help you out. So we'll copy that, go back and throw this in our code. Hey, we're going to space that, save that, and we'll go back and look at our page. And there you have your little email, and that'll be your email address. And let's just make goodnight our LinkedIn. So we're gonna go back and we're gonna search for LinkedIn. Awesome. So we'll do that. Go back to our code. I'm gonna add that in. Oh, I accidentally copied goodnight instead of pasting. So let me go back here real fast. All right, so now be sure I'm pasting it this time. And make sure we have our space. Save this. Then we'll go back to our page. Refresh. So now we have the LinkedIn, we have a Twitter, GitHub, email. And then kind of to finish out this video, you're probably like, well, that's great and all, but you're not kind of able to see the styling and what you can actually do with this. You see that you can make a button, and I've got the CSS set to where this spans it all the way. You can change your CSS, make these buttons smaller. You see what the icons look like on the web page, but it's not really visually appealing, and there's no layout to this, and that's because we haven't done the CSS, which we'll touch on in another video. But to kind of just not leave you hanging, I went ahead and I pulled two of my other projects that I've been working on to kind of show you what with CSS and Bootstrap and using these font awesomes you're actually capable of doing. So this will be last game I just did, and you're gonna have your font awesome I did a little controller next to the title of my game. You have your NES.css that allowed me to make these buttons, and that's my letter guess game. I'm sorry, this is the guess the number game, and then this is my letter guess game. So I actually used NES.css on this as well to create this button, which kind of gives it a cool, just kind of 3D almost looking element to it. And I used the Biohazard font awesomes next to my button. And the whole point of using that was because I wanted this game to really have a feel like the computer and you are kind of at war. And you'll see, the computer is animated computer typing to you when you start the game. And this is actually my instructions. So once, get through this, tags through all that, and let's just go ahead and, so if you win, it's going to talk trash to you. So obviously, if you were smart enough to beat the computer, the only way you could have done that's a hacker. So he's notified the authorities. And if you want to continue playing until they get there, you can click OK, and I'll let you keep playing. So if you win again, he sends out, oh, I can't wait till you get handcuffed. And it's just constant. I wanted it to kind of be a fun thing to where, so I ended up, I actually have 7 different alerts I put into this game. And so like when you lose, he's like, "Oh, I told you, human, you're not as smart as me. You can either understand your inferiority, or you can keep trying to beat him." And you click OK, and it resets. So that's kind of the game, and just the whole style that I wanted for the game. The biohazard, because clicking this button is hazardous to your health, really ties in, and really like what it did for my game. So this kind of what, if you're really looking for something specific, a flair and a style to your game, Fun Awesome can take it to the next level. So that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this video. Um, I'm wide awake, so I'm probably going to go ahead and try to touch on custom alert boxes. Do that video tonight as well, through a thing called Sweet Alert. But yeah, that wraps up this video.